Yeah, and speaking of community, talk to us about the Moody Readers Book Club. It's kind of its origins and some of the best books you all have read.
So in 2018 is when I started it. I was living in Tucson, Arizona at the time, and Tucson is such like a cute little artsy town. It's very community driven, and there's like a couple of really fun local indie bookstores. So I started out by, just I think it was probably Facebook at the time because it was more trending then. But I started a Facebook account and an Instagram, and I was like, all right, we're gonna read one book, classic book club format per month. But my caveat was always it's gonna be all different genres. The whole point is to get us outside of our normal lens, trying different things, experiencing different things, and then like having conversations about it. So back then we used to meet in person at bookstores. We would meet at brunch restaurants. We were so small we could even like meet at my house when we wanted to do like a book to screen adaptation. I would just be like, all right, I went to Trader Joe's, I've got wine, I've got apps, everyone, this is my address. Like terrifying. But I think in 2020 it really shifted, and that's when I also became more serious about it. Like I was really casual with it up until that point. Like I was barely scraping by finishing those books. I mean, we would show up and we would chat, but like we were like more of like the wine club than the book club at that point. But 2020, when we got to go virtual, I like had that like light bulb moment being like, oh, if you're virtual, not only do you get to like meet people all over the world, you also can have authors join you because it's really easy for them to like maybe just dedicate 30 minutes or an hour of their time. You can work around their schedule. Like this is a whole new world. So our first ever like author Zoom, I actually surprised my book club because I love surprises. And we were reading a poetry book. Her name is Mackenzie Campbell, and she writes the most like heartfelt, sweet poetry. I don't read a lot of poetry, but like I said, I make them read things out of our comfort zone. But like 5 minutes into the meeting, I was like, hang on, guys, like I gotta like fix something in my Zoom settings. And I was just like acting like I was like struggling with my Zoom settings. And then I popped Mackenzie on camera and I was like, and we have an author in our midst. And everyone's faces was so funny. So I like to try to, keep everyone on their toes, keep things interesting because it can get repetitive being in a book club. But I mean, I'm still adapting to this day. I feel like we've had really big ebbs and flows of the book club. Some days, like it's all virtual now entirely. We usually do like one annual in-person meetup in Arizona every year. Plus, I go to the Tucson Festival of Books every year. So I see a lot of the book club there and I try to like host something there as well. But with it being all virtual, it's really hit and miss.
Yeah.
Running a book club is really hard, to be honest. It's a huge time commitment and it's really hard. It's easy to be hard on yourself about it because in the Zoom, maybe 1 month, 3 people show up, but in the next month, 50 show up. And you're like, what did I do wrong? Did I not post enough? How do I get more eyes on this? And it's a bit more stressful than my regular content to run the book club. So I've been slowly pivoting my approach to trying new platforms and running it in slightly different ways. Like I said, now that I have YouTube, I've been interviewing authors over there. So then that way, those videos, instead of it just being a Zoom and then it's over, now those videos can live on for people rediscovering the book later or joining the book club later. So I mean, it's always a work in progress. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it would be a heck of a lot easier if, we had a more streamlined approach of like maybe we only read fantasy or maybe we only read romance because then you can build this really strong core base of readers. But because I refuse to change on the fact that it is really diverse with what we read in different genres constantly because I want us all to be challenged, it's hard to find people willing to take on that challenge too.
Yeah, I gotta give you your flowers because like 2018 till now, like that's just impressive to keep a book club together through COVID too. Like to have that be a thing. So I have to say first, congratulations to that. And speaking of that, like what are your tips for as a host to have engaging conversations to like sustain a book club over many years?
Well, so I mean, in general, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just need to be enthusiastic about it. I know where my strengths lie, and I'm not the type of reader who can come up with really awesome questions on my own. So a lot of times I do rely on the publishers or, the internet resources that exist out there already of discussion guides, because some people are really, really good at that. And that's okay to take their questions and use those. That's what they're there for. So in that case, if I can find a really great book club guide, I'll use it for sure. Sometimes, of course, those don't exist. And then in those situations, I actually have these like this little set of like book club questions, and it's little cards. So ahead of the meeting, I'll pull out ones that seem applicable to that particular book. So I have like a baseline of where we can start. Or, this might be a controversial one, but I sometimes will use AI. I'll lean into ChatGPT just to formulate the questions. I'll say, like, here's the synopsis, here's a couple reviews about this book, so you get like a good understanding of the baseline of this book. Now write me 10 engaging questions. And I usually try to give it like a lot of input, where I'll say that, like, lean into this type of mood or lead into this type of energy to flow this type of conversation. And then once I have that baseline, I switch it to make more sense to my personal self in our book club. So, I mean, it's all about using resources. Like, don't feel stressed if you're not perfect at everything, because I'm not. I'm still figuring it out, but I know my strengths lie in other ways. And then in the conversation itself, it's very important to just kind of let it go where it will. Sometimes, like, you might have this big tangent on one particular topic because everyone's really passionate about that. And you should lean into that. And it's okay to make up a question on the spot to lean into that and to dig deeper in that particular topic, rather than being like, but question number 7 is this. Can we get back to the agenda? Because it's not fun for everyone. And like, it's not school. We're all just like having fun reading books. Like, we don't need to be that serious, in my opinion.